Welcome to the Rin Lake Cabins in the Woods podcast, and today me and Travis Severn here are hosting the Ballin4God with the boys. And Travis, you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Love to do it, Russ. Thanks for having me. Travis Severn's my name. I've been involved in Southern Illinois sports for a long, long time. Graduated from SIU. Actually was in sports broadcasting at SIU way before Russ was born. But, I long history of doing stuff with Southern Illinois with sports. I was on WQRL for years. Hosted a show called The Fifth Quarter. Did play-by-play broadcast for Benton. Worked with Jim Muir. Worked with Danny Zarwinski. Worked with Justin Wyatt. Worked with a lot of guys. Worked with one of your colleagues, Darren Kennard. So, I've been very involved in sports, interviewing coaches. And when I first started The Fifth Quarter with Jim Muir and Danny and Justin Wyatt, different guys, I used to interview different broadcasters from all over Southern Illinois on The Fifth Quarter. So I've been very, very involved. Like I said, did play-by-play for Carterville Lions on 103.5 for a few years. Did Carterville basketball on the radio with Tom Wheeler. So, I've been very involved with Southern Illinois sports for a long time. Been out of the mix for about the last 8 years. Now my oldest son is a freshman at Rin Lake College, and my youngest son is a freshman at Benton. So I was very intrigued about what you've been doing with Ballin4God. Russ, I know that you're a freshman in college now, and I'm just going to say this. A lot of people, I get stopped all the time. People see your work, and they say, who is this guy? Where's he from? They don't know you're from Benton a lot of times. They don't know you're, 18 or 19?
18. Turn 19 soon.
Yes. 18 years old. People see your work on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and they think you're 35 and have been in this business forever. They don't realize how far you've come at such a young age and doing a great job. And I just thought it'd be fun to work together. You have a passion for sports. You have a passion for the Lord. That's why it's Ballin4God, Psalms 23:4, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I wanted to be a part of it. I'm intrigued by it. It excites me to get back into this. You know that I know a lot of people. Obviously, a couple of the guys that we got on our first podcast, I know. I'm kind of like the old guy now. And I can bring in the Mike Roods and the Aaron Wrights of the world. You're the young guy. You know the Callahan Ropers of the world. And I think the two of us merging together kind of brings a Southern Illinois. We love sports. And I just think it's a great way to get us involved. And I just like talking to people.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm excited for it. It's I always enjoy talking sports, and I did the podcast for a little bit and wasn't able to do it very consistently, but it was kind of hard not having a co-host to kind of keep me accountable there. And I've been kind of waiting for the opportunity to have somebody, and then you reached out, and I jumped on that chance. We'd been kind of working around the ideas for a little bit, but now we finally got it going, and hoping to have this a weekly talk show where we just talk high school sports, college sports, whatever sports comes to mind, and it's just gonna be a fun ride. We'll share a verse of the week, which.
What is the verse of the week?
I can share last week's verse of the week, and because I don't want to spoil it for you guys tomorrow. You guys gotta make sure you tap in tomorrow, figure out what the verse of the week is. Well, if we get good internet out here, I'll have to.
Rin Lake Cabin in the Woods. Rin Lake Cabin in the Woods. That's where we're at. Number 10.
Number 10, cabin number 10. I mean, if you find this interesting, you come check out this cabin.
Yes.
So here we go.
Rent this sucker.
We got verse of the week from last week. This Matthew 6:31 through 33. And it says, "Therefore do not be anxious, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the Gentiles seek after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them all. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you."
Amen.
Amen. I think it's the thing a lot of people always wonder about.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that you wonder about it sometimes.
I do.
But
especially being in the car business.
Yeah. But it's hard to not be anxious, but you just got to make sure you always put God first.
I love it, man. Well, that kind of goes into our next segment. We're going to go to our first, our Ballin4God podcast here with the boys. We got trivia question. Russ, what's the trivia question?
All right. So first trivia question for this talk show, and GoPro going off. First trivia question for this talk show is about Mike Rood. and a lot of you guys know who Mike Root is, but do you know when and where his first playoff win was at? Just you got to, and there's a little bit of an incentive to this trivia question. If you message the Instagram account what the answer is, and if you're the first one, you'll get some sort of Ballin4God merch.
Merch, I like it. Merch.
Merch is always free stuff.
Free swag.
And you just have to be the first one to answer it. So hopefully you're watching right now and you are listening to what I'm saying. The first trivia question is, where and when was Mike Root's first playoff win or playoff appearance? Which one do you want to do?
Let's go playoff appearance. When did he get to the playoffs for the first time? Where was he coaching at? What year?
Okay, first playoff appearance for Mike Root.
He's been like 600 times.
So, yeah, it's just message the Instagram. Be the first one. I'll let you know if you are the first one. And you can just find us by searching up Ballin4God or B4G_SIL. Either one would work. And just message me. If I don't get back to you, don't be shocked because, I'm sometimes bad about it. But don't worry. If you're the first one, you get some free merch.
Russ, tell everybody all the different ways they can find like the podcast we did today and different clips that you do, shorts that you do. Tell them kind of all the different ways to find Ballin4God.
So, first things first, Instagram's probably my favorite one just because I'm the younger guy and Instagram's just where I always find myself at.
He's
first.
young, I'm old. Let's just be honest.
So, YouTube, to find the full show, to what you're watching right now, you can find it on Spotify where you can just listen to it while you're driving in the car. Or if you're just sitting at home, pop it up on YouTube, watch it on your TV. And if you're wanting to find some shorts on it, you can find the shorts on YouTube as well. But you can also go to Instagram, hop on Reels, or Facebook, hop on the Reels as well, and TikTok. I upload on TikTok, which I know that's more gauged to our younger crowd. But I mean, yeah,
my father-in-law likes to say, tic-tac.
So we'll be on.
Shout out
to
Terry Gower.
Terry Gower, that's a good name.
Papa T. That's what Trey Sever calls him, Papa T.
So, I think that's pretty well it for the intro. So, if you want to stay and listen, we got three really good guests, three that we're really excited for. Aaron Wright, a longtime referee. Now he's at Elverado coaching basketball. And then we got Callahan Roper, who might want to listen and hear what he got named. Broke a lot of records there at Marion. And under Coach Dunning, under a really great quarterback at Marion, Matt Brown. And then we got the longtime head coach, Mike Root, who is just a great man.
He's a beast.
Beast, still kicking it at 77.
I think he can still play.
I think he
I looked at the size of his hand. It's like twice my hand.
It's like Kawhi Leonard out there.
It is. The Claw. I'm going to start calling Mike Root the Claw.
So let's hop into Aaron Wright and let's catch up with you guys at the end.
Aaron Wright's going to be our next guest here on Ballin4God, the podcast. And, yeah.
Let's jump into it. So Aaron Wright is a longtime referee, now at Elverado High School, Elverado. Yep. You've kind of jumped into that the past couple of years. How's that going?
I've always coached a little bit my own kids through the AAU, and then I did a couple years at junior high level. And so getting out of it, officiating basketball, kind of retired full-time a couple years ago. I just told my wife, I'm like, man, I'd like to throw my hat in the ring for the Elkville job. Being the AD, I'm probably a sure thing. So I did it, and I enjoy coaching. I enjoy the game. So that's kind of how it came. They needed a coach. I was kind of wanting to coach, so we did it. That's about it. It's my second year now this year coming in.
Aaron, we've talked, we've known each other a long time, obviously back in my radio days in a prior life. What got you, and we've talked about this before, you graduated from Quoin High School.
Yep.
What got you into refereeing basketball and football?
Darren Koffel. I was buddies with him. He was refereeing. I came back after a year playing college basketball, went to SIU, kind of trying to figure out what I was going to do, and we ran into each other and knew I played, and he's like, hey, you want to referee? I'm like, sure, let's do it. And literally that got me in, just like anybody else, just kind of did it as on a whim. And then I'm like, hey, I kind of like this, and 34 years later, here I am.
34 years.
34 years, yeah.
Whenever you played high school sports, you played 1 year, and in college, jumping from being a player and then being a referee, how is that different and having to look at things differently?
I think when you played, you have a little bit of better advantage to understand the contact, understand the game, so you're not anticipating calls maybe. You know what to expect, and then you kind of learn as you go. So you having an idea of the game really helps, because after about 6 or 7 years ish officiating the high school level, I got into college basketball. And when I got kind of serious about it, I went to a camp and got picked up my first year and did college for 18 years. And they teach you how to referee the game a little bit,
Sure.
how they want you to call it. And so that kind of helped me with my mechanics and a different perspective with this style of games. So
I know you've been reffing forever, but something that just kind of clicks with me is, and we've talked about this on other stuff before, but what's the biggest thing? There's changes in sports all the time. You see the game evolves, the game changes from when you started to now. Let's talk football, because you're just coming out of football. And if people don't know, maybe name the crew you're with football.
Yep, got Shane Garner, Brad Wilson, Mark Goddard, and Mark French.
Feel bad at you for some of those guys, but
I was with another crew for a while, and that kind of just fizzled out. I wanted different. I wanted to go white hat. I wanted to make a
white
run.
hat. So people,
white
we
hat,
know what white hat means.
Your head referee, your white hat. You call the penalties. You're doing the mechanics. I'm crew chief on it, just because it's when my other crew broke up, I knew they wanted to branch off where they were at, so I grabbed those four, and we kind of put a group together, and it kind of has taken off.
How many years these guys with your current crew?
This is our 4th year with our crew. We just got our first semifinal game this year, so I got 2 more weeks of officiating with this group. So long as nothing goes, hopefully we'll get a chance to go state next year. And I know people, when you get older, you got different things in life. So I know Shane's kind of with AD at Benton. He's ready to move on and not have to worry about getting off Benton games and missing games to come officiate. So, but it's been fun. It's been a blast with this group.
And you've also got Brad Wilson, who, I mean, it probably takes him 2 hours to get ready. Very pretty. I've known Brad a long time, and he's,
Yeah, he's all right. Brad's good at it, but he does. He likes.
He looks good.
He looks good. That's right.
So you guys are your 4th year with that crew.
Yeah, 4th or 5th crew. 4th or 5th year. Yeah, you get old, you forget those things.
Russ had a question about something that's come up big here lately, that noticing with football. You being a high school ref.
Mm-hmm. So, whenever it comes to the game, there's a lot of questions. Like, there's a lot of things fans don't understand. There's a lot of things I don't understand.
Right.
Me too.
And so there's intentional grounding for a quarterback, right?
Yep.
And for the quarterback to throw intentional grounding, do you think you could explain that and then explain the difference between intentional grounding and then spiking the football?
Yeah. So that's come up a little bit. So for a quarterback that's going to intentionally ground it or to throw it away legally, you got to be out of the tackle box. So you're just outside the tackle box, and the ball has to get past the line of scrimmage. So if he can roll out 10, 15 yards being chased and throw it away, but if it doesn't make it back to the line of scrimmage, it's intentional grounding. So if he's outside the box and he throws it 20 yards out of bounds past the line of scrimmage, we're good. And then just spiking the ball to stop the clock, you're just spiking it in the ground. You're making no effort. And
you
so
cannot run around for 3 feet, 3 yards, run around a little bit, and then spike it.
No, that's intentional grounding. So
we have people constantly, the last couple of years since my oldest son got into high school football at Benton. He just graduated this past year with Russ and my man Dr. Young back here. I was on the chain gang the last few years, so you'll hear people in the crowd yelling. They don't understand why is intentional grounding called, or they're wanting it called, but the quarterback's ran out the tackle box. He's chucked it 40 yards downfield. No one's around, but they think, well, that should be a penalty, or this should be a penalty, or so. I thought it was interesting. He and I were talking, before today, to get your point of view on it, because it comes up. I mean,
it is, and it's not that hard you just got to be outside the tackle box and get past the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
And once you do that, you're good. This past Saturday we had the quarterback was in the pocket and he was panicking and he just chucked it into the end zone from about the 40-yard lines, there was no receiver within 25 yards. And so I have to radio just to make sure I got my back judge that there was nobody back here. So it took a second or two. I threw my penalty flag. And the quarterback says, I got to pass the line of scrimmage. Yeah, but you also were you got to be outside the tackle boxes to make it a legal play. And he's like, So, plus it's a loss of down, which sucks.
Has it helped you? I mean, you've been reffing forever. I won't say what year, 1989, that you graduated high school. But does it help the fact that you played the game, you've reffed the game, now obviously you're going, basketball, you're coaching.
Yeah.
Do you think that helps or hurts being a ref and coaching?
That's a double-edged sword because, on the good side for me is I don't holler at the officials. I've hollered at one official last year and deserved. Yes. But I understand that it's hard to officiate. It's a lot of human perspective on the game and the contact and stuff. So I can't yell at somebody, scream at somebody for them doing the same thing I do. And so it's kind of helped me. I'm sure other coaches, opposing coaches, know me doing it that long, know I may get a few breaks here.
Sure. Because
buddies in there,
Yeah.
And so it's kind of double-edged sword for me, and I try not to fraternize with them there like I would if I saw them in the crowd at a game or something. Sure. So I try to leave it professional and just be done. I don't want to be treated any different. I want my kids to learn to win and learn to lose on their own and not getting any help per se.
So over the years, just being a part of the game and being a referee, and then now you're coaching, what's the dynamic like, and what's it like just being a part of the sports community around here?
That's something that being an official, and I've been lucky that I've officiated at a high level in basketball. I've done 3 state title games, went to state those 3 times, and football, it's such a fraternity. After games, we call each other, we text, special plays, how's your game, and we really got each other's backs. If somebody needs help, you go help, go fill in. So all I do right now is fill in with people. And there's this,
it's a brotherhood, isn't it?
It is a brotherhood, and it's a bond, and it's changed a little bit now that the Bobby Blondies and the Mike Austins, the Rungies,
Dick
and
Dietz, all those,
Dietz, all those guys are getting out. Yeah. That the younger kids that are coming in, they don't have that. Yeah. And that's one of the big changes. You had people to look up. I didn't get my first varsity game 7-ish years into officiating. But now you got a first-year guy. He's going to varsity games because he has to, especially if he's decent.
Aaron, I was going to ask you, you're kind of segueing into something I was going to ask you anyways. I know from knowing Bobby Blondie very well, grew up around the family. They've been in this profession forever, with obviously with Bobby's dad. Yeah. Brett and Robbie have helped officiate as well. The state of Illinois has a problem finding refs. I'm hearing it more and more all the time, whether it's boys sports, girls sports. I know you know this. What's the answer to get people to referee?
That's $1 million question. I don't know. I did a program with IHSA to do clinics in the summertime for new officials. If you're interested in officiating, come. Let's do a program. Let's tell you what it's all about. And we just didn't get people out to do it. Small group. They used to do classes in high school. Mm-hmm. They kind of stopped doing that. I don't know what the answers are.
What will happen? I mean, I've heard people say that we might not be able to have lower level games.
It very well could be. I mean, that's where you're going to fall into is some of your underclass. You may have to do without. You may have to go back to have 3 officials. You may have to bring in high school kids that play on the varsity team or something to help officiate.
Do other states have this problem? I mean, is this just an Illinois
problem?
I'm
not sure. I can't answer that. If Illinois got it, I'm sure there's, especially the Midwest, it may be an issue. But I don't know what the answer is. We've tried several things to come in, and it's just not, just don't have the answers. I don't know. hopefully we can get
All right.
get him in.
This
Camera film.
Can't see the line, can you, Russ? Sorry, I had to throw that in once. That's Christmas vacation. But anyways, hope that becomes all right. We've all talked about it's the hot topic. It's a week past or so, but still. Let's talk Fairfield Porta. From a referee standpoint and a fan standpoint and a coach. Lay it on me.
You know, it was a human error. And that's the end of the line. It's a human error. It was a horrible position, a horrible spot in the game to do it. Things that we talk about our pregame since then, we talked about multiple times. Knowing what down it is, especially late in the game, knowing what down it is. You got 5 guys. All 5 of our guys keep what down it is every down. All 5 of us on our fingers. So I have a hard time understanding how 5 of you didn't know. But it was human error. I don't know what else to say.
What happens, because I've heard all this stuff, and Russ and I talked about it beforehand. You know, you've heard people say Porta should have forfeited.
Which isn't options. IHSA bylaws show you can't forfeit a game after to let somebody else win and all that. Those weren't options. Unfortunately, Porta got to move on, and people kept saying, well, those teams are going to get beat next round. I said, yes, but if nobody's practiced after the regular season and you're in playoffs, it's just that practice has got a different feel when the weather, well, I'd say the weather gets cold.
Sure.
But weather's cold, you're out practicing, and you know everybody else is at home wishing they were you. Fairfield could have got that.
Yeah. I mean, as a player, I just played. That just getting to go from that first week to the second week is just a completely different feeling.
It is, and and then all your locals go from here, this many made it to this many made it, and you're one of them. Now they didn't have that, but it was a human error, and IHSA said it.
Nothing can be done, correct?
Nothing can be
done.
I talked to Sam this week, and he said he talked to Fairfield Saturday night, and he said,
"Who's Sam?"
Sam Knox, IHSA assistant executive director in charge of football. I talked to him, and he said, man, when he talked to the super and Justin Townsend, head coach Adiot, he said they were super. They understood. They weren't mad. It happens. It was just a bad situation.
Yeah.
And I think Porter obviously knows, hey, we shouldn't have won. But what do you do?
Yeah, I saw the statement by Porta. They completely understood the situation.
Oh, absolutely.
And they knew they couldn't do anything about it. It just definitely sucks, but
it does suck.
You don't want to allow protests because there's no telling what
you don't. I was talking to a friend on Messenger, and I said, you don't want to open up that appeals process because how many games, whatever sport it is, they blame the officials on missed calls, perceived missed calls. You have everybody going, but you look at this and there's 5 calls in this basketball game and this many free throws. You don't want that.
I know you got to get out of here soon, but here's just something I was thinking about to kind of let you, think about for just a minute. I want from you best high school game basketball you've ever officiated, best high school football game you've ever officiated.
Oh, gosh.
No pressure. No pressure.
I think my best high school basketball game that I've ever officiated was my first trip to state, the championship game, just because where we were. Were
you at Peoria or Champaign?
Peoria.
Okay.
My first 2 were at Peoria. My last one was at Champaign. But my first state title game was probably the
shining moment.
Exactly, because you're there, and it was Mount Carmel, which was a local. I had Mount Carmel and Chicago Orr.
Wow.
Orr won, but that was the Mecca.
Sure.
At that point.
What year was that, Aaron?
That was 16.
Okay.
It was my first trip. The best game I think I've ever had was Nashville at Oakville, probably 6 or 8 years ago.
Thank God you didn't say 6-7.
6, 7, no.
I was waiting for it.
I've heard him say it once so far.
Yeah, Eric Saunders was with me, Cheese and Dis, but both teams shot combined about 75 from the field.
Oh,
wow.
The game wasn't special per se, but it was a 6-8 point game. We literally called 10 foul. It was so well played. No high stakes or anything else. It just stands out. But football, that's a tough one.
It's hard to define what a good football game is too. I mean, it could
Well,
be.
yeah, it is. When I was working with Darren Kaufel probably 20 years ago, we had Belleville West, and we did 6 overtimes.
Wow.
And that
stands out, obviously.
That stands out because it was a good game, but it kept going.
Different overtime rules back then, too.
Oh, absolutely. But, anytime you do East St. Louis.
And you've done before.
Yes, we had East St. Louis quarterfinal 3 years ago.
How fast is the game?
Oh, it's junior college.
Yeah.
Well, upper junior college, because they usually have 5, 6 D1 athletes on the field on both sides of the ball. That's the year that the kid went to Alabama. A couple kids went to Missouri. They're just loaded every year. But last year we had Bevel Altoff in the quarter, and the kid that's playing at Oregon blowing it up.
Deer Hill.
And this is kind of funny. We're real sticklers. Point of emphasis is knees covered. Well, he came out first play from the game, and he had his pants pulled up all the way mid-thigh. Blew it dead. No plays ran. You got to go off. He's like, what? You got to have your knees covered. Send him off.
Oh, wow.
First play of the game.
He scored 4 touchdowns for Oregon this year. And
Well, he scored 4 touchdowns that game in the first half.
Unbelievable.
And didn't come back in the game. But I sent him off. He came back in, apologized. Give me an knuckle bump. Sorry, Mr. F. Won't happen again. And they were covered. Wow. But it was just neat to when you do players that you see on TV on Saturdays, that's a special kind of thing to be able to see him in high school, and he's blowing it up.
Yeah.
So
I got one last question. What do you got for him?
I don't have anything else. I mean, I pretty well got all I wanted.
I get asked this all the time. I'll finish with this just because I watched them play last night. The Eagles have made a killing off the tush push. I've noticed this year, IHSA, there's a big point of emphasis.
Yes.
To do away, right?
Right. You can assist, help a runner, aid a runner, push him in the back.
So if you do it in a high school game in Illinois, it's a penalty. And what is the
I've
penalty?
never seen it called.
Yeah.
And you see it all the time, and I know it I didn't see it much this year. And so, here's the thing. It's NFL. People are complaining because they can't stop it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you stop it. How do you stop the wing T offense for Johnson City or the Nashville's a long time? You get that.
Yeah.
Just hand it to the fullback and
you don't even know who's got the ball sometimes.
Exactly.
It's like a little scrum, and then someone takes off and they're gone.
It's like a rugby scrum in the NFL.
It is.
So I don't know. People are it's gaining traction. I wouldn't be surprised next year if it's out.
Yeah.
It's just the spirit of the game. It's like you try everything else.
Here's what I don't understand. The Eagles have been so successful with it. Why doesn't everybody try it?
I think everybody should try. I mean, if don't get so ticked off, it's one person for doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do it yourself as well.
Yeah.
What would you say if they do take it out? How would you be able to define a difference between them helping block the guy still and pushing? I mean, that's still tough too.
That NFL stuff, there's so much money involved. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. So much money involved. They've got to think of that.
Yes.
They have to.
Well, Aaron, we appreciate you coming on the Ballin4God podcast here. And
absolutely. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Really appreciate you coming on. And if you ever have anything you want to get on or anything,
absolutely,
just let us know.
Fun time. I appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, get him out of here. Who's next?
Got Callahan Roper. I think he's outside.
Callahan Roper's next.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now we're on to our second guest, and we got a big name here, Callahan Roper. He just wrapped up his senior season, big senior season, broke a lot of Matt Brown's records. Just introduce yourself and, talk about your senior season.
Yeah, I'm Callahan Roper. I'm a 3-sport athlete, baseball, basketball, and football. We had a pretty good year. We ended up 6-4, lost the first round of playoffs. But overall, I had a good season, but it wouldn't be done without my teammates and coaches and everybody in the community of Marion.
Okay, now are we supposed to call you Cal or Callahan? What do they call you in Marion?
A lot of people call me Cal, but you can call me Callahan.
Callahan, okay. So you're actually helping me with my next question.
Yep.
I know your family. You know, obviously your uncle coached at Benton.
Yep.
Everybody always liked Tommy the best. Your dad, because he was the nicest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Obviously your Uncle Jeff was a tremendous coach and
Yeah.
teacher at Benton High School, and obviously your Uncle Jason coached for years and coached at Benton too, Massac all over.
Yep.
People might not know this, but why is your first name Callahan?
So my uncle, not my uncle, my great grandpa, his name was, well, they called him Coach Cal, but the last name was Cagliafetti. So
Italian.
yeah, Italian. Cagliafetti. So then my parents were just sitting around, I guess, and said, what if we called him Cal? And then I guess a hand came along with it.
It's a unique name.
It is. It is.
It's a very unique name. I don't think I know very many other athletes besides. I know a Calhoun. Do you remember the Angels baseball player a few years ago?
Didn't he die? No?
No, that was Skaggs.
That was Skaggs, my bad. Yes, Calhoun, my bad. Was Skaggs.
Yeah.
Got on the stuff.
Calhoun, though, I don't know, it's a very unique name. But, just looking back, getting to play, Marion had a lot of tradition coming in whenever you were playing. You got to be under Martin for 1 year, and then you got to play for Matt Brown, who's was the record holder for a lot at Marion. What was it like getting to play under him and learn from him?
Yeah, so I think he got onto the staff that year, my sophomore year. So he helped me a lot, It wasn't just about football, just as being a tremendous young man. And, he knows everything about anything in football, how receivers are going to run routes, protections, blitzes, coverages. But he most of all helped me with my feet and stuff like that because I need to get that cleaned up. But he helped me a lot tremendously, and he's a great guy.
Let me ask you this question.
Yep.
Obviously, you played at Marion. You're still at Marion. You're a senior. Had a tremendous last 3 years as a varsity starting quarterback.
Yep.
I got to ask you this, though, because I'm the old guy in the room. You guys are all young. How much does Harrisburg football get talked about at your house? Al Way was the king, right?
Yeah, Alway was. Yeah, it gets talked about a little bit, honestly. When they were in the quarters against Murphy, that was a big year. Went over there and watched the game. It was a crazy game.
Your dad played for Harrisburg.
My dad played for Harrisburg. My uncles, my cousins, pretty much everybody beside me, and then my other cousin Grace played at Marion. But yeah, it's a big deal. Harrisburg football is a big deal. Harrisburg baseball, basketball. They're Harrisburg people, and I'm pretty much a Marion person, but.
It's part of your genetics, though.
That's right.
Part of your DNA, that bulldog in you.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm a Marion Wildcat, though.
You've had obviously, Russell just said it, an unbelievable career at Marion. Broke Matt Brown's records. For people that don't know, Matt Brown was on the team that went to the semifinals under Kerry Martin. What year?
07.
06, 7 or so? What year?
06, they went to the quarters. 07.
07,
Right.
07, the semifinals. Matt Brown, if people don't know, tremendous quarterback at Marion, now coaching, but went to Illinois State.
Went to Illinois State. I think for a while he at least had multiple records in the MVC for passing yards, passing touchdowns. So, he's obviously a great quarterback. And then another thing, I don't know if most people know, but he was on the Packers training camp or practice squad for a little bit. He signed as an undrafted free agent.
It's got to be nice to have him coaching.
Yeah, he actually was in the same quarterback room as Aaron Rodgers. Wow. So, that helps. And, Jordy Nelson threw to guys like that. So it helps, obviously knowing all those guys, and he knows everything, like I said, about quarterbacks.
Talk about growing up in Marion. You grew up in Marion. You grew up with a lot of the same guys. That you got some move-ins, but coming into this year, you had a lot of guys you played with your whole high school career. How impactful was that for you, and how helpful was that for you?
Yeah, I always knew our class was pretty special and athletic when we started playing basketball at third grade. Coming to tournaments. I think we even played at some Benton tournaments up here.
Yeah, you did.
But
I used to run those.
Yep. And then 8th grade, we got second in basketball and baseball, and then one track. So obviously we had talent. And then freshman year, we pretty good. I don't know what our record was. Maybe lost to Cokia. And then sophomore year, obviously we all got thrown in the fire. My class did. And it was a little bit of a struggle. Won first 4 and lost the last 5. But I just think, those guys are tremendous athletes and they want to compete and see the best in each other. And I don't think we were much of a personal team. We played it all as 11 for each other.
No, you definitely weren't a personal team. You, Adkins and Thomas, they both are high up on the record books. And you had a lot of guys like Winters and I'm blanking on the other running back. but
Hazel,
Marcus you had
Hazel.
a lot of guys that you could just rely on to help you out on the offense. I mean, there was multiple times this year. I think you guys might have scored 20 point. I mean, under 30 points maybe twice this year.
Yeah, I think 3 times actually after the last game. But yeah, we score a lot of points. We like to throw the ball around, and we can run it as well.
Good for a quarterback.
Yeah, I like that. So
I'm going to ask you something coming from I've got the dad hat on. You guys are all young bucks. Having a son that just graduated that played 3 sports for 4 years at Benton.
Yeah.
Having a son that's a freshman that's now going to do the same thing, Lord willing. Just got done with freshman football, now going into basketball.
Yep.
There's been a big push in this country to have kids that are 1-sport athletes, maybe 2-sport. I pushed on my boys, and people know this, to play 3. I mean, Benton is a small school. You need all your athletes. You're in a bigger high school.
Yeah.
In Callahan, you're playing 3. That doesn't happen a lot nowadays, does it?
yeah, there's not very many 3-sport athletes around Southern Illinois, and even in our high school, it's hard to juggle, but I think it's all about consistency. You wake up early in the morning every day, or to lift, or you go at night, or eating the same breakfast every day. You just got to be consistent.
Do you think being a good football player helps you with basketball, baseball? I mean, don't they all kind of connect?
Yeah, obviously sports are going to connect in very different ways, and athleticism and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, as long as you're competing, you're going to be competing in other sports. I think that's one of my best traits. I just like to compete and play sports.
So you got to be under, just being able to compete, and Marion's got a great sports tradition there. Just being able to play for Marion, put on the Wildcats blue and gold. I mean, what's that mean to you and to the other guys surrounding you guys?
Yeah, being like probably one of the biggest schools in Southern Illinois, if not the biggest 5A school football-wise, it means a lot. A lot of people look at us and think we're the Mecca, but we're just like everybody else, and we just put the uniform on and, like I said, just go compete.
Unbelievable facilities. I've got
That's
a chance
right.
to go down there.
Yeah.
We talk about the Heck Center. I mean,
Yeah.
most towns in our area don't have anything near that.
Yeah. I'll start. The football field's awesome. You got the Heck, like you said, the Heck Center, and then it's got a Wildcat Stadium. That's pretty awesome. And then inside the Heck Center, there's 3 basketball courts, 2 batting cages. You can play tennis on there, a track around it. So you can pretty much do whatever. And then the weight room, we got like 14 racks, free weights, all kinds of stuff, cardio room. There's even a dance room up there. But,
Dance room? Do you go in that?
No, I don't go in that. I leave that to the dancers.
Russ is a big time dancer.
Yeah. So, you see all those things, you're like, I got a lot here, I need to use my resources as best as possible. And
Okay, so you're at Marion. I'm going to ask him. We'll put you on the spot.
Yep.
What the next chapter is basketball. Then there's the chapter of baseball. Then you're going to graduate.
Yeah.
What's Callahan Roper do after that?
I don't know, college football is very appealing, but I'm not going to say that I'm 100% in or 100% out. But it just kind of, we'll see how college teams got their seasons wrapping up here soon, so we'll see how the recruiting process is after that. But if I played a sport in college, it'd definitely be football, and if not, then I'll probably go just live my life, be a college student.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I've tossed around the idea of physical education teacher, and then I've also thought financial advisor. A lot of people make money in financial advisor.
Next Jeff Miller. He's the next Jeff Miller.
Yeah, maybe. You never know, but I don't know. I got time to think about that.
Speaking of time, I mean, you got a lot to think about for the future. But do you ever think about the coaching itch? Do you ever think about potentially giving back to what you had already received?
Yeah, great question for sure. I always thought, it's in my family and my blood to be a coach, obviously. Yeah, it's definitely a big part in what I'm going to do in my next chapter. I want to coach, no matter, I don't care if it's baseball, basketball, football, but just like teaching the youth of what I know and what Coach Brown knows, and maybe, pass that on, keep that tradition going, and seeing young quarterbacks grow up as a Wildcat and see them succeed would be very heartwarming.
What's the biggest thing you say to a kid that obviously I have a son that's playing football now, played the position that you're in.
Yep.
If it's a kid that's 8 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, whatever they are, I mean, what advice can you give to a kid with football, quarterbacking, or just football in general?
Yeah, I think just overall athletics, the best thing I think is a good trait of being a good teammate, Pick your guys up when they're down, pat them on the butt, tell them get up and let's go. We faced some adversity this year, and I looked myself in the mirror. I was thinking, I just got to be a better leader. I mean, I'm a good leader, but I got to be better, and I got to take that next step. Just being a good leader, being a good teammate.
Quarterbacks have to be leaders, right?
That's right. Yeah, quarterbacks definitely have to be leaders. You look at guys like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, obviously, they're great leaders, They find different ways, not just talking, but leading by example and showing their work.
Weight room, stuff like that, extra workouts.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
I've always heard coaches say, you can't be a quarterback and expect everybody else to be doing all this stuff, and you just show up. You're already in the position that gets the glory.
Yep.
I mean, you do.
Yeah.
I mean, people, let's face it, people know if you want to name the top 10 guys in the NFL, people are going to name quarterbacks.
Yep.
College football, they're going to name quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in that position comes expectations and stuff you've got to do.
Yeah, you definitely have to show up early and work late. You got to be the first one there, last one to leave, just to show your teammates that, you might get all the glory, but you're here to work and get better.
Russ, I think you got some big stuff here for Callahan.
Well, I want to ask another question first.
He wants to ask more questions.
Yeah.
Speaking of, just expectations, I just looking back at a specific game, every game you have to have a big role. You have to step up. But Carbondale, for example, you guys were up 27-0 at the half. They came back. You guys cut it to 35-33, and then on that last drive, Blake was out. Was Junius out? Was out too, wasn't he? Or
yes, Junius was out.
There's a couple guys out there,
Mm-hmm.
and some of your big targets were out, and you had to take it into your own hands to go score a touchdown, and that was your first rushing touchdown of your career.
Yep.
But what's it mean to you that you got to do stuff like that and be on a whim?
Yeah, I was thinking, after the game, like I had thought, like at some point I just got to turn into an athlete, and make an athletic play, and just be a dog as a senior leader, and just get the touchdown for the team and sacrifice anything I can to win.
All right, so Callahan, you just completed a big year, and there's a lot of area talent this year, and you're one of the lone big seniors this year, I'd say. You had Junius and you had Sam, and then Spencer up there. But it was a lot of young guys, Archie, Jonathan Miller.
Yeah.
But you had a tremendous year. You broke all the records, and so you got the Player of the Year honor this year.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a big honor.
You get a big check, right, Russ?
Yeah, we get a big check. We'll get everything.
Ballin4God to get a huge check. Don't ask how many zeros, but you.
It might be 1-0. But let's just go through some of your stats. 'Cause, it was just.
It's like video games. Your stats are like video games, man.
Senior year, you threw for 3,040 yards, 37 touchdowns. You had a 63% completion percentage. You had a game high of 435 passing yards in your last regular season game at Marion. Just getting to play out like that on your last game on your field. How'd that feel? Get to do that with the guys.
Yeah, all the glory goes to my teammates and my family and my coaches and Jesus Christ. But, I just go along with my day and just be the best person I can be to every other person in the high school. Come out to practice, do my job, and it just success finds you if you're good to people and a good person. And I just think I've worked pretty hard for all this, but all the glory goes to my teammates.
Can we clone him?
I'd be nice to see in a couple years.
Yeah.
Just getting to look. Looking at Junior's stats, he had over 1,000 receiving yards as well. And I believe he tied third for career. And
where's he going? What's he going to do now?
I'm not sure. He might go to college. He might just go to work. I don't think if he doesn't get football offer, he'll probably just go to work somewhere.
One of your other receivers,
Sam Atkins, he's going to SEMO.
He's going to SEMO.
Yeah.
I saw. Is that this week he signed with SEMO?
Yeah.
Yep.
Will he be a wide receiver? Doesn't he kick too?
Wide receiver, I think.
Okay. Is he a kicker?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a kicker.
I did my homework a little bit.
Yep.
But you guys had just such a great talent, and you got to be such a great group. What's that just speak to you about Marion and just the culture you guys have built there?
Yeah, so when I started all this quarterback thing, I was an 8th grader. I hadn't really played football up until my freshman year, but I started my 8th grade spring, and I always worked out with Junius and Sam. Those were my two main receivers that I always worked out with Coach Brown and Coach Martin, Kerry Martin. So we just work out on Sundays, get the chemistry, and I just find them guys in the games. If you find them in practice, you'll find them in the games.
Awesome, man. We appreciate you coming on. Obviously, Ballin4God Football Player of the Year.
Yep.
Had a great senior season. We look forward to seeing Russ is the video man. He'll be at your basketball games.
Yep.
I'm sure baseball games this year. I know you got big things ahead of you.
Yep.
You come from a great family. I don't know what your mom's maiden name is,
Yeah.
but I know the Roper family very, very well.
Yeah.
I know you got a good mom and dad. And,
Yep.
nothing but success for you, Callahan, rest of your life, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, and see you basketball season here soon.
Yep.
And good luck.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Now that we're on to our third and final guest of today's show, and it's a pretty big name here. A lot of you guys know it, Coach Mike Rude. And Coach Rude, do you want to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Well, I'm presently the head football coach at Christopher Ziegler Royalton, Elverado. Just finished the first year. I just finished my 56 years as a head coach in Illinois, and just tickled to death to have the season that we had.
For those of you that don't know, Coach Rude, some people call him the GOAT of coaching in the area. 56 years, long time. Russell and I went through all the schools earlier, and we'll talk about all the different schools you've been at. Had a chance to talk to you on the phone. Yesterday we were talking about different places you've been, where you've started. You're I'm going to say it out loud, 77, but you're built like you're 25. All seriousness, you've been coaching a long time. Well, everybody wants to know, what's the secret? We sat and talked with Callahan Roper before we started our part of the interview, and you talked for 20 minutes. You've still got that passion and zeal. I'm sure Mrs. Rude, who's back there, could say. I mean, what is it? How do you stay so? I mean, you've got the energy of guys that are 30 or 40. I
really don't have an explanation for it. I think my wife would be the first to tell you that I just love what I'm doing. I've always loved it. I think it keeps me mentally healthy. I think it keeps me physically healthy. I think Coach Martin said it when I was with him one time, Coach Kerry Martin. We were talking about wintertime comes, springtime comes. You're looking at film. You're working on what you're going to do the next year. It just she'll tell you it is. She doesn't want it to be that way, but it's 365 days if you're doing it correctly. And I don't know. From high school, I've just had a passion for it, and I just love what I'm doing.
Like you said, you've been doing it for a long time, and you just keep going from school to school to school, and you've been all over. Did you know from high school is going to be that's what you want to do, or did you kind of just figure that out along the way in your life?
Oh no. I knew in high school exactly what I wanted to do, and I have explained to my players. There was a time, and it doesn't matter to put the numbers out, but there was a time when I'm a head coach right out of college, and I think my wife would tell you I'm coaching 3 sports, and I think I'm making $8,100 with a college degree, the first out of my family to get a college degree. And my brother comes out of the Army later, and I think he's making $14,800. But I try to tell my kids, when I hit 50 and I get out of bed and my feet hit the floor, I say I can't wait to get to where I'm going. If I'd have gone in the coal mines after 30 years, at 50, I don't think I'd have got out of bed and said I can't wait to get where I'm going. So I'm a person that's got to do what I've wanted to do for 56 years, and it's never been work.
Obviously, we've talked about 56 years of coaching. Did you know when you were, Russell's little brother's back behind us back here, Michael. It's not Michael, is it? Christopher, so I know. Sure, Christopher. I'm just messing with it. When you were a kid, did you know you wanted to be a football coach? Did you know you wanted to be a coach?
Not football, but probably at that time I had to rank baseball 1. And I had the greatest junior high coach in Gene Helfrich, who just he meant so much to me. I got to do his eulogy when he passed away, and he meant that much to me because he was the first coach that taught me, you're going to get to play based on your ability, not what your last name is. And that has been a big part of my career. Then I was you ask yourself, why does God put certain people in your life at certain times? My high school coach came my junior and senior year, and he was probably the biggest influence on my becoming a football coach. After football became number 1, track became number 2, and baseball moved down to 3, and basketball I shouldn't even thought about.
You told me the story. If people don't know, you graduated from Christopher High School. You're a local Southern Illinois guy. You're not a transplant, and you were here. You get out of high school, you go up north for a while, and then kind of take it from there.
Why I applied to be a head football coach, I don't know. I had coached 2 years at Mulkeytown Grade School when I was a junior and senior in college and got paid for it. And I really think, and she would probably verify it, I think when I sent my stuff to Quoin High School, I think they said, well, he's got coaching experience. Well, that was basketball and baseball at Mulkeytown Grade School. So I end up at Quoin High School with 130. And I always say they had lost 26 in a row, and I got it up to 34. And, you know, you kind of realize you don't know what, you're no more prepared than the man in the moon. So I got on at Kankakee Bishop McNamara High School, which was a blessing in my career. I mean, they won 5 state championships in 4 seconds, and just a great coaching staff. And I got moved up to be the offensive coordinator. He let me run my wishbone. I coached the D-backs. Then we were talking about it the other night. I would always call Tom Wheeler. I know Tom Wheeler, when he'd get the secretary would say, you have a long-distance phone call. He'd say, oh, he's calling me again. And I'd say, what jobs are open? And finally, Anna-Jonesboro opened up. And that's Coach Davison had been at Anna-Jonesboro before he came to Christopher. And she would probably verify it, that he probably helped me, put in a word for me to help me get the Anna job. And he kept telling me, I don't want you to go to Anna because you can't win. And we go there, and in 4 years we won first conference championship in 23 years. Then Marion. I'm at a track meet, and they're taping a kid's ankle. And I look down, there's 2 guys with M's on their hats, and I realized they're Marion. And I said, have you hired a football coach yet? And the one guy, and I told Kerry Martin this, the one guy says, no, we haven't. And the other guy says, we ain't going to just hire anybody. Oh, I guess Newt Rockney's going to come out of his grave and come to Marion and coach football, huh?
That was a challenge to you.
Oh, I went home and I told her, I'm going to apply just to see if I got it, but I wasn't going to leave. And they offered me the job. And I went back and I called Milton. It's probably midnight. Called Milton. He said, I'll meet you in the ag room. I told him what I was going to do. I said, it's more money. It's a South 7 conference. I'm closer to home. He said, do you see what we have coming? I said, yes, I do. But I'm going to, and he gets second in the state and he wins state.
Milton Young, for those that don't know,
yes,
who becomes the head football coach at Anna-Jonesboro after you leave.
Yes, he certainly does. And won state and got second. Johnson City allowed me to be a principal and still be a head football coach. And in the state of Illinois, that just doesn't happen. No. You got to give it up. Well, I wasn't giving it up to be a principal. And Marlise Trover was the superintendent that hired me. Dr. John Metzger was my superintendent. And I often say she could have won 8 games a year at Johnson City. They were just, the talent was just unbelievable. And then when I retire, Dr. Trover, who hired me at Johnson City, is at Vienna. And she says, do you think you could come here and start a football program? And we started it on the front yard of the school with 1 football.
Wow.
And we make the playoffs 2 years in a row at Vienna. And then I was really, it was a struggle down there at Vienna. And John Shad Owens one morning said, would you meet me for breakfast at Larry's and Christopher? We'll have breakfast. I just want to talk football. I said, sure. And he says, I'm thinking about stepping down. Would you come to Sesser and take over the head coaching? I said, John, I forget how old I was at the time, at least 68, 69. I said, why don't we co-head coach? You call the offense, I'll call it, because he always gave me fits offensively. And Chip Basso and having Carol Kelly on the school board ran it through. And we had 6 great years there. And then this last one was not intended.
Is it the icing on the cake for people that don't know? I said it earlier. You graduated from Christopher High School. You coach all these years, all these schools, kids you've met from all over that are, all over the country now, I'm sure. Got to coach your own son.
Yes.
But how sweet is it to be back in Bearcat land?
Well, I'd say in all the years, this ranks awful, awful high. I mean, awful high. I mean,
if Tommy D was here, he'd be crying.
Yes, and he's going to speak at our banquet. And
Tommy D. Wheeler, for those that don't know, yes. Coach Wheeler, great friend of Coach Rude's. I was on the radio with him for years. He was my sophomore basketball coach at Benton High School. Yes. Tom Wheeler, a great, just a I mean, everybody knows Coach Wheeler. You know, I mean, just he loves Southern Illinois sports, boys and girls sports, and he's just an awesome man.
He loves Bearcats.
He does love the
But
Bearcats.
yes, to stand. I was talking to him last week. To stand on that side of the sidelines, where I had stood when I played, and we had a pep rally, and for the playoff game, and I had to, when I went up to speak, I told the band, I said, please don't play that school song anymore. I said, I think I'm gonna cry. I mean, it just to stand there and hear my school fight song was. Yeah, it's a special year, very special year.
You know, like you said, getting to go back and you got to coach. Shadowins wasn't on the sideline for Sesser, but you know, it must have been a little bit bittersweet to go back to Sesser and play him. You know, yeah, I mean, just getting to go back up there. How was that?
It was probably as difficult. Well, you got to realize, I got to the point where I'm at Vienna, now I got to go against Johnson City. And I'm at Sesser, now I got to go against Johnson City. Now I'm at Christopher, I got to go against Johnson City and Sesser. Those are tough nights. And I knew there were 8 players coming back on a defense where we had really only given up 75 points in 10 games. I mean, I knew the Sesser defense was going to be unreal. And I think one of the things we struggled with, and I think I can say it on here, the Sesser kids were very upset. Matter of fact, during the regional basketball tournament, they were 20 feet away from me in the gym. They didn't even talk to me. They did. The deal was, we have a granddaughter in St. Louis County, and I had thought about, I'd contacted some schools there, and that's what kind of a plan was. I didn't care if I coached freshmen or sophomores, or then all of a sudden the Christopher thing happened, and now those Sesser kids think he turned traitor on us.
What's obviously a huge rivalry, the Bearcats and
it
Red Devils.
Yes.
I mean, that's the what's it called? The
Route
154, whatever.
Yep.
Is it 140? Yeah, is it 154
Battle
148? Yeah, Battle
Yep.
148. I mean, that's a
Yep.
I mean, that's like Benton and Frankfurt, man.
Yes.
That's Marion Heron. That's a huge rivalry.
Yeah.
Mount Vernon Centralia. I mean, when you think Christopher Sesser, it's a throw out the records, right?
Yeah, well, I thought so, but they had a great team. Wingo did a great job of coaching this year.
You know, speaking on becoming the coach at Christopher, how does it go about when are you just about a month earlier you planned on retiring and being done with football here in Southern Illinois? How things kind of switch and who kind of started the contact there?
He's never gonna be done coaching.
Well, a lot of that has
The boss is back here.
A lot of that has to do with her. As long as she allows me to coach, it's just the planning for the next year, the excitement of plugging in who you think's going to be where, and then, you know, it's just like I said, and I know this probably doesn't apply, guys, but I was always in Alabama, Oklahoma. Anybody ran a wishbone, we went to visit and got to know their coaching staffs. And Bear Bryant was really sick when he's playing Illinois in the Liberty Bowl, the last game he ever coaches. He knew that if he retired as the head coach at Alabama, probably 100 people were going to lose their job. Because everybody, from the secretaries to the equipment guys, because a new head coach is going to change all those people. So he hung on for a couple of years, even though he was very sick. Well, he dies about 4.5 months after he retires. And I'm not saying that would happen, but that sticks in my mind that once he quit doing what kept him busy every day, he just said, hey, I was ready to check it out.
I'll say this. You know my dad well.
Yes.
And you know the next name I'm going to say very well. Rich Heron, great friend of yours, great friend of my dad's. Rich used to always say, hey, big fella. He'd tell my dad, he'd say, I'm going to coach till I can't coach anymore.
Yes.
It makes your mind sharp. It keeps you active, keeps you going. It keeps you young.
Yes. I think it kept him young. It didn't help him with his driving skills, because sometimes I rode with him to cross 3 lanes to get to a turnoff. But
And he taught drivers ed at Benton.
yes, he did. Yes, he did. He was.
And people don't know this. You student taught at Benton High School.
Yes, I did. And First day I went in to student teach at Benton High School, Moose Phillips hands me the book, and that's one of my favorite stories. He hands me the grade book with the students' names in it, and he says, now, because I'm doing the winter quarter, and he says, you do whatever activities you want to do, but only plan on using half the gym floor. And I look at him and I said, well, is there a reason, Coach Phillips? He says, the basketball players will be coming out of study hall and changing into their clothes, and they have the other half of the floor. And Coach told me he still had it, but he had a thing that set in the basket that when you shot a basket, it threw it back out. And I watched Szymanski and Laukens and Casper and Fraley. I watched them come down 3 times a day out of study hall for basketball.
Coach Aaron had it figured out.
He's the first guy I ever seen was doing isometrics in the gym in the morning before they went to class. Nobody else was doing that.
I've always just been told, and I know you've got the same with yourself all these years of coaching, work ethic.
Yes.
We weren't going to get outworked at Benton. I'm sure you're the same way. I know there's a lot of things that go into it with all the success, Coach Rude, you've had, but how important, I mean, Callahan Roper was just here. He talked about how hard you got to work. First in the gym, last to leave the gym. How important in this day and age, especially with kids have phones. Chris is back there on the phone. Austin's back there on a phone. I mean, we all have technology nowadays. I mean, how important is it, the work ethic part of sports?
Well, I will tell you this. And this is one of the things I've tried to get out to the Christopher people, but they're excited about what happened, but they don't know the behind. And she will tell you, I only did it 2 days, maybe sometimes 1 day a week. But if you'd have told me kids that had lost 20 in a row would come to the weight room at 6:15 in the morning, 4 days a week,
that's huge,
and work out. And Rod Sherrill had a lot to do with that. Rod Sherrill changed the entire how we lifted and what. But if you'd have told me those kids would do that, and that kind of set the tone for what was going to happen in the summer and in the fall. So the work ethic those kids showed was, and then they can look back and say it paid off. It all paid off.
Just speaking on the work ethic and just like how you have to do things and prepare for the next year, from 1970 to 2025, how have things changed as far as how you have to change as a coach? I mean just being.
Well, I think the biggest thing that happened in Christopher is you go out to practice with a kid and you don't tell a kid how long practice is going to be, and you go 3.5 hours. So I think some of the pluses with us, technology-wise, yes, but when we told the kids we will practice from 3:10 to 5:10, and when it hits 5:10, no matter what we're doing, you're going home. And as the season goes on, we maybe won't even stay till 5:10. And then kids start believing you when you tell them that you're going to do something and then you stick to your word. I think that was a big plus for us. Technology-wise, they know that they can text me. I will not text them back. If they want to call me, I'll talk to them. But she'll be the first to tell you my technology skills are.
Show the phone. I want the phone pulled out on the camera.
Well,
he's on camera too, right?
Yes.
I know. Look at this phone, folks.
yes, sir.
There it is. What is it, a Kia Sarah? What is that thing?
Yeah, it is. And, she bought me one that said it's Army, and it's unbreakable. Well,
have you broken one?
Yeah. So then I go and the guy that's selling them in Marion was a sport.
He said several.
Yeah. He says, Coach, he says we got one for $200 and we got one for $80.
I know which one you took.
You know which one I got. And that's as far as my technology goes. Thanks.
Okay, so here's the $1 million question. CZR has had a professional football player, Pro Bowler, right?
Yep. Well, I believe 1 year he was, right?
Yeah. We've had a lot of good guys come and go through that football program. What on earth did you put in the water this year? I mean, Coach, they'd lost 20 in a row.
Yeah.
And you win 5, you make the playoffs? I mean, what's the secret sauce, Coach?
I think first of all, I've always said, and I told Richie Tires and I told Gabe Savita when we talked about it, I said, you got to understand, and I told John Holman, I am not a magician. I can't come in and all of a sudden sprinkle fairy dust.
I don't
on
know.
things.
Look at the record. Go to IHSA.org. I don't know.
Well, I've always said, I won't mention names. I feel like I've coached against people, to me, that are August to October coaches. Well, she'll be the first to tell you. We go to what? Georgia Southern, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Arkansas State, West Point in New York, Georgia Southern 3 times. When it came time, I always went to what people were doing that we did, so I'm staying a step ahead of the people I'm coaching against.
That's that work ethic part.
I think that's the work ethic, and the other thing, and I think you've been around other coaches. I always tell the kids in practice, I'm never asking you to do something that I haven't done. We don't practice. We do not tackle our backs to the ground. I've never done a bull in the ring. When I was a young coach,
If they're not healthy, they can't play.
they cannot play. No, and when numbers is the name of the game. I just think it's, and I learned to be very structured in my practices. I was very fortunate. I don't want to deviate, but when I went to Anna in '77, Coach Dempsey, for some reason, kind of adopted me as like a son. And again, she'd be the first to tell you, I might call the SIU football office at 10 o'clock at night, and I'd say, Coach, how long are you going to be up there? Midnight? After midnight? Can I come up and watch film? You know where the films are, Mike. The back door's unlocked. And he showed me how to structure your practices and how to be organized and how to. I still have books from when I went to Marion that shows every practice. In '82 and '83 and '84 and '85, how our practices were structured. And I've been one of those guys that fundamentals. You know, I mean, it's, and then the young guys run into a problem because they just want to go out there and run plays.
Yeah.
You know, and I know the kids at Chris for the first time, they're like, how does he see everything? I stepped with the wrong foot. My head wasn't inside, and when it was supposed to be inside on the trap, and I just have had the knack that.
Details.
I think so. Yes, I think so.
I'm going to ask you this, and we talked about it earlier, and not to just piggyback off the fact that he was here before you, but Callahan Roper, you know, the Roper last name, I associate just because Jeff Roper was a coach of mine at Benton High School, Harrisburg, and I know the connection, obviously, the Ropers have with Al Way. Talk about the connection, the two of you, with Coach Al Way, who a lot of people, when they think, I'm just going to say it, when they think of high school coaching in Southern Illinois, they think Al Martin, Al Way, Mike Rude. I mean, those are the names. They've been around. They've won the most games. They've, you know.
He's been, I'd say he's been like a brother. He's been like a brother. And I mean, you got to figure after all these years. We talked today. He could tell you who's returning for every school that I'm going to play next year. He already knows.
That's unbelievable.
I said something the other day. Today I said something. He said, no, they lost 6 linemen.
Wow.
He's not playing them. I'm playing them. Wow. But the only thing with him was, and he may be more of a competitor than I am, if there were times I beat him, he should have won. There's times he should have won. You know, I mean, it flip-flop. When we went to shake hands, he might not have talked to me till March. It's if I won. I mean, it's like, hey, bud, we're the best friends. The game's over. But no, and I'll never forget, he's playing. He always invited me to be on the sidelines when I was out of the playoffs, and he's playing Wheaton St. Francis. Great victory. I mean, just a great victory. And I go to congratulate him. He says, dadgummit, can't believe it. And I said, what is wrong with you? Got to play Mount Carmel next week. The game hadn't been over 5 minutes, but he had played Mount Carmel opening date forever.
Sure.
And had barely beaten him, and now he knows he's got Mount Carmel coming up, which he beat him. So
I think of this with both of you guys, Coach Way at Harrisburg, yourself, Coach Rude, all the different schools you've been at. Both of you big on the running game. Yes. Talk about that.
Well, I think it's more prevalent 1A, 2A, 3A, and maybe even 4A. I think you got to run the ball. I mean, it's like a prime example. I told our kids, I said, they didn't know what offense we were going to run, And I said, look, what you've been doing the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you're throwing the ball. First of all, your offensive lineman couldn't block my wife. Oh, and they hate to hear that. The kids at Sesser, they would do something, and I'd say, my wife can make that play. She can do that. They made a T-shirt up. Coach Rude says Susan can do that, can do that play. So she's got T-shirts. But so I mean, it's. I know where I was going with that, but
running the ball.
Yeah, running the ball. I mean,
it doesn't show that you're the dominant. I mean, if you can run it, you take the other person's soul, so to speak.
At Marion, and later on in Johnson City, we ran the same play, the first play of every game.
Wow.
So you're playing me, and you know that's the play that's coming. I get 4 yards, get on the bus and go home. Mm-hmm. It's over. Mm-hmm. You knew it was coming. You worked all summer for it, and we ran it. And but I tried to tell those kids, what you've been doing the last 8, 9 years, you're throwing the ball. You can't block anybody. You have no running attack. So you throw 3 incompleted passes. That took 18 seconds. Now you're going to give the ball to the other team, and they're just going to score in 5 plays. That's why you're getting beat 72-6. Mm-hmm. And so they understood we're going to control the ball. We're going to control the clock. We're going to get first downs. Our slogan come out of the huddle is get 4. Get me 4 yards. That's all I'm asking for. So running, I've always been a running, even though I'm a quarterback. Now, hey, you go back to 2001, Franciscan throws for 1,000. He runs for 1,000. Yeah. He's an all-state quarterback.
Well, who was his grandpa?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, Ray Dempsey.
Right.
Yeah. So
national title at SIU, obviously.
Yes.
Coach Dempsey.
So yes, running the ball is the key.
Coming into this year, how was it to have such an accepting? Well, like they probably gave a little bit of pushback being a new coach and everything, but how was it to have such an accepting group willing to run the offense that you gave them?
Just like the Sesser kids, I said, and I had to change the year, but I said, look, I realize it's 2025, but I'm locked into 1965. And if you think something's going to change, it ain't going to be me. It's going to be you, not me. And they jumped right in and accepted it, and it was totally different from anything they had ever done, especially for the linemen, trying to zone block and step back, put hands on people. Now we're blocked. I had a guy, a single wing friend of mine that I met at the Notre Dame single wing clinic, Steve Ragsdale from Virginia. And he says, Mike, he said, the reconditioners always knew what kind of year I had when they come in to pick up my helmets and shoulder pads because we blocked with our shoulder pads. And I tell them, you got a $250 pair of shoulder pads on? If you want to block with your hands, take them off. We'll just play like girls. We'll just patty cake our hands out on people. And they learned to shoulder block.
Yeah.
And Schlakey and Butler were 2 kids who hadn't blocked anybody in 3 years. And they turned out to do a fantastic job.
Coach, you've seen a lot of great football over the years. You've coached a lot of great teams. Talk about some of that. I know you know the history. Coach Wheeler said, Travis, you could talk to him for hours. I mean, he knows. I know you know guys. I mean, you just rattled off a guy from Virginia. I mean, talk about how important the history of the game is to carry it on to this next generation. Because they do have technology everywhere, and they've got. But I mean, it's important to not forget our past because our past leads you to your future.
Well, we're pretty close to eliminating football in the United States and playing soccer.
Wow.
I think we're that close. You have to understand, especially with the suburban schools in our state, and that so much now is past it. It's just like when I was at Wyandotte in 70 or 71 in Texas with the wishbone, and I became a wishbone guy for over 30 years.
Is that why?
Oh yes, and I love to be a running quarterback too. So, but everything's
the size
cycles.
of his hands, you got to be a passing quarterback.
I could throw the ball. I did pretty good throwing the ball. 5 yards to minor and lame run. But everything cycles. So if you look at even around here what people are doing, you copy it off the colleges.
Sure.
And I've always believed it makes. I truly believe if you are a running football team, it makes you a better defensive team because you're hard-nosed and physical. I just think the spread passing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I used to make fun of one particular school in our area here whose kids would come out and they'd be in that stance, have their towel in there with their number and their name. And I'd say, we ain't playing like that. That's not how when we get done with a play, I'd like to see 5 offensive linemen down on the ground that they block somebody. And we play Mount Carmel 2003 or 2004. Jim Muir said it's probably one of the best games he ever broadcast. We get one kid from Thompsonville, and we get 2 kids from Crab Orchard, and we get bumped up from 2 to 4. And
wow.
Mount Carmel beats us in the last 30 seconds. We had them beat, but they had an all-state linebacker. And I show that tape when I speak at clinics lots of times because you get to the middle of the fourth quarter, he can't hardly get up. He's staying on one knee because he's getting hit from so many different directions. And I just think it made us just a physical football team.
All right, I'm going to ask you. This year with the Bearcats, did you strap on the pads? Did you put
Nope.
the helmet on?
Nope. Matter of fact, I'd say there were 2 or 3 times my mind said, go ahead and do it. And my body said, what do you think you're doing?
Hey, if people think I'm joking, Coach Rude, I know guys from John City that have told me over the years, you used to run the scout team.
Yes, always. Yes.
As the head coach.
Yes, and I did some things I probably shouldn't have done, no, you just, the body just, they were giving me flack in the coach's office one day about something. I forget what it was. They said something about push-ups. So I got down and did 5 push-ups. And they were just so amazed that I could do 5 push-ups. So I guess you guys think you ought to put me in a wheelchair and just, wheel me
Put you out
to
to pasture.
Practice field. Well, they asked me one day, one of the assistants said, I think I can get the little cart or whatever it is so you can drive around. I said, I'm not Bear Bryant. I'm not going to drive around the practice field watching what's going on. I'm going to. They are. Oh, I did have one day. We had some injuries. And the silly rule about sophomores play on Monday. They can't hit on Tuesday. And we were a couple guys shy. And I got in there as a tight end. And after about 3 plays with all those bodies around me, I thought, whoa, that's not good. Somebody else is going to have to stand in there because I'm not standing in there. So my days of, but I will demonstrate stuff.
Russ, any last thoughts for Coach Rude?
Just kind of thinking lastly, getting that first win at Christopher, just what did it mean to you? What did it mean to the town? Just kind of looking back, how did you feel after that?
I think it changed everything. Well, first of all, we put on our summer camp T-shirts. Respect all, fear none. I figured the first thing we have to do is we have to get the respect back. We were everybody's homecoming. That had never happened at Christopher. I won't mention other schools, but we were everybody's homecoming game. And I said, the first thing I have, not wins. I wasn't sure I could win a game. I said, we got to get the respect back. And that night, to see the look on those kids' face when they broke that losing streak,
Priceless.
Priceless is the word. Yes, it is. To see that they accomplished something that maybe they didn't think they could do, the town didn't think they could do, and then they turn around and they do the same thing to Red Hill, and on their homecoming, to win a homecoming game. And then Carmi is on their senior night. So they got a homecoming, a senior night.
And looking back at Elverado, they're not a bad team by any
Don't
means.
want to play them again.
Yeah, and I believe they played 5 one-score games. And
they went their last 3 games, they got beat by 6, 4, and 2.
Yeah.
They played Cesar to within 4 points. Yes. So to get them week 1, and if we had lost and it had been close, maybe the people would have said, hey, we're making strides, but to get the win.
It's always good with a win.
Always wins. Ugly wins are better than losses.
Yes. Jay. Coach, we appreciate you coming on.
Oh, as long as my agent was here, I'm okay because Yeah, before I leave, if you have to delete stuff, she's the deleter. She's the.
Well,
And I didn't say I got it written down here one time.
No, you didn't.
Okay,
And
good.
he's done good. No ums or anything.
Yeah.
Couple.
A couple. Oh man, 58 years of marriage.
Yeah.
All right, hey, forget football. What's the key to 58 years of
Okay,
marriage?
it's very simple. I tell my players, I said, look, my dad didn't tell me, but he should have told me the first 6 months you're married, one of you two is going to get the upper hand. He never told me that.
Coach Way's calling you.
So for 57 years and 6 months, she's had the upper hand.
I just want to thank you guys for just catching up and just listening, because that was some great stuff. Listen to Mike Root. It's always good to hear from Mike, and you got to listen to Callahan, which, if you paid attention, he was named Ballin4God Player of the Year this year. Just an extraordinary season by him. You don't see 3,000 passing yards by many quarterbacks in the state of Illinois, let alone Southern Illinois, known for their running backs. And then you got to hear from Aaron Wright, just some good knowledge to learn. There's a lot of things that you guys don't realize that referees have to know.
One of the things we wanted to have on our podcast is Aaron Wright's a ref, a coach. Callahan Roper is a player. Mike Root's a coach. So we kind of had all aspects. We had, Aaron Wright and I are similar age. Callahan's similar to your age. Coach Root's grandpa. You know what I'm saying? It's nice to kind of tie in all the different age groups out there, because the thing that's the common thread about all of it is everyone, Southern Illinois, we love our sports. Doesn't matter, Coach Root's 77, Callahan Roper's probably 17, 18. Aaron Wright's, I won't say his age, he's in his 50s. But, I think that's one of the cool things about being able to do this is talking to people. And we all have one common thing as we love the sports in our area. And I think that's what's going to make this good, make it great.
Yeah.
Making podcasts great again.
Making Southern Illinois sports important again.
There we go, man.
Southern Illinois sports has always been important.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
And
we don't have pro teams in our area. I know people like the Cardinals. I'm a Cardinal fan, a Bears fan. But, I always bring this up. Russ, you were there last year. My oldest son, Trey, got to play a couple basketball games last year with 3,000 people in a gym. There's colleges around here that don't get 3,000 people at a game. And you're talking a high school, you're talking towns combined that are about 12,000 people, and there's 3,000 people at the ball game.
Yes,
it's unbelievable. That's the difference. That's what pushes this area, that we love our sports, and that's why I'm excited about being able to talk to the different people that we're going to talk to over the next several weeks and months, and hopefully years before you get big and take off and move away from me before Russ goes to LA or something.
I do want to piggyback off that, though. Southern Illinois sports has always been important to me. I love going on YouTube, watching the IHSA archives, and seeing those old games, seeing those, just how packed the crowds used to be. Coach Matt Wynn told me, he's a longtime teacher at Benton. He was telling me that there was multiple D1 players on the court back in the 70s and 80s when our Coach Heron was coaching at Benton.
I think we'll have him as a future guest. He can talk about his book that we both know him well, and he can talk about his book that he wrote about Coach Heron.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Knows a lot of Southern Illinois sports history.
Played at SIU. He coached at Meridian, coached at Benton. He's been all over.
Yes, he's. So we're gonna dive into some high school football as it's wrapping up. We only have one area team left. It's the Flora Wolves. It's a little bit hard to consider them area with them being so far up in Clay County, but
they are BDC.
They are Black Diamond, and so they're having a strong season. They lost earlier in the year to Johnston City at home, but they're still rolling. They are in the quarterfinals. They won their first playoff game in round one, and then they won their second playoff game by Parker Helm kicking the 43-yard field goal to advance to the quarterfinals. And they're playing Moreau Forsyth, which is a handful. You never want to count out the Wolves with how they're playing this year. And Parker Helm just leading the pack there, but it'll be a big game for them, and that even if they lose, you can't be down about this season. Win your first playoff game.
No, it's big. It's actually weird we're talking about this right now. I had never been to Flora's football stadium, and my freshman son, we actually played a game there this year. We didn't have a game week 8. So we went to Flora. I'd never been to their football stadium. Very nice, very grass field. It was amazing. I was very impressed with their football stadium. Tremendous freshman team beat us, and we had a really good, we had a good freshman team and beat us. And they were very excited about their football program. I was talking to people there, and good for them. Flora. People don't always think Flora, Southern Illinois, because they're so far to the east of us, north and east of us. But a lot of sports. They're in the Black Diamond now. They're playing a lot of our local teams that we hear for, talk about a lot on Ballin4God. But good for Flora.
Yeah, and it's just good to see a Black Diamond team still rolling.
Sure.
And we're just going to talk about some teams that have been eliminated. There's been a lot of shocks this year. I mean, a lot of our teams got paired up with not the best setup.
Coach Rude talked about it 30 minutes ago. The draws that people got, the draw you get in the playoffs shapes so much of what happens.
Yes, and heck, Benton got paired up against the Central Illinois team, St. Joe Ogden. That's not your traditional 5-4.
You remember your junior year?
Monticello, we could be.
No.
Yeah, my junior year.
Sophomore, excuse me. Your sophomore year, same thing.
Yeah, we played Stanford Olympia.
Same thing.
5-4.
We were 8-1.
Yeah.
At Benton.
And it's just wild. Those Central Illinois teams are different.
They breed good football. They do. They're strong teams, good football programs, and hey, a lot of the teams from Southern Illinois went out either round 1 or round 2. 2 teams from the central part of the state.
Yeah, Carterville Lions went out to Power Sacred Heart Griffin, and Carterville Lions. They had one of the top running backs in Southern Illinois, and he was held to, I believe. It was not many yards. It was well below what he usually got, and he finished with a stellar season. And you just have to give credit to those Central Illinois teams because they played against the Quoin Indians, and Quoin's been one of our top teams all year. And man, those Central Illinois teams, it's just a different breed.
It is. I mean, Quoin had a tremendous season. I got to see him up close and personal. I know you got to shoot, video of how many of their games?
I ended up with 4 games.
Yeah, 4 of the Quoin games. I mean, Jones and Brown, great players, good defense. One of the most storied programs in our area is Quoin. Jonathan Brown had a tremendous senior football season as quarterback.
Yep. Jeremiah
Jones. I mean, they were loaded team. But Westville, you were there.
Yeah, that team is just very physical. It's like they had Riley. It's like they had a duplicate of Riley Spencer. But go ahead and make 5 more duplicates. And then their offensive line was just gigantic. And it's hard to compete with teams like that. Whenever you just have corn-fed boys that are just gigantic.
And Johnson City, they have a great season. They get knocked out second round also.
Yeah.
Jace Weaver has you were showing me some of the stats, huge year.
Yeah, hit 3,000 career yards this year. But
very, very fast.
Yes. Short, fast. But that's short. He might be short, but man, he has a big heart. Big heart, and he is up and down the sidelines there. I watched him play 3 times this year, and I've watched him play numerous times over the past couple, and he is a really, really good player. One of the top running backs for sure. I think he averaged over 10 yards per carry, I believe, this year.
We have a lot of great football in our area. We're kind of wrapping up football with this first podcast together, but Southern Illinois has a lot to look forward to in the future.
No doubt.
A lot of great guys coming up. I look forward to seeing it. I'm ready for basketball, but I hate that football's gone.
Yeah, and talk about ready for basketball, but there's a lot of those football players they'll be carrying over, like Archie Guwai from Centralia.
Arch. I just call him Arch because the last name, sorry, too hard to say. And, Arch is a stud. At Centralia, great player, playing for his father. I know you went to at least 1 or 2 of their games this year.
One football, and I've been to many basketball.
Oh, I know you've been to many basketball games, but I watched the highlights you had of their game against Marion. Was the Marion game, right? Yeah. And he's it looks easy. Great quarterback, young, just a sophomore. The bright future for Arch. I'm calling him Arch. Sorry, no more Arch. You can't say your last name. It's really, go wide, goo, waggia. I'm going with Arch.
Well, I don't know if you want to hear some of his stats, but
I know. They're go ahead. You know him.
So, as a freshman, just listen, he's a sophomore right now. But as a freshman, he was all-South in football, basketball, and baseball.
That's pretty good.
And then guess what? Football season comes back around. He threw for over 2,000 yards. He has 29 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And then guess what else? He threw for 360 yards and 7 touchdowns against Marion.
That's good.
And he was him and his teammate Kenny Bratton were my player of the week for week 6. outstanding.
Both great basketball players too.
Yes. So they have a lot to look forward to
For
for
sure.
sure. And I'm excited for them this basketball season. That 3A sectional will be tough with Mount Vernon and Centralia. And you still have to count Marion in there, even though they graduated some guys. They
Yep.
got Cam Curry coming back. And, man, they'll have to go up against East St. Louis. But, man, that sophomore group there at Centralia, very promising as far
Very
as
talented.
Yes. So, yeah, that it's just fun to see those young guys be multi-sport athletes for one, but two, just be coming back. Get to see more of them.
I'm excited. Like I said, we love Illinois sports, and hey, football's done, but I'm ready. I'm ready for football next year already.
Yep. And I'm ready for basketball too. Next week we'll be getting ready for basketball, and we'll have a couple guests on here. Two that are for sure going to be on here are the Cooper brothers, Luke Cooper and Kyle Cooper. Those are two. Cooper has been the big name over the summer coming into this year as in the Nesto Hoops rankings. Woodlawn is preseason ranked at number 1, and so it'll be a big year for them. And then we'll have some Rend Lake guys potentially. So
Yep.
make sure to tune in next week, and
Rend Lake will be on the broadcast. I can say that.
that'll be awesome. So, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
No, this is fun, man. We've been talking about this for a while, and like I said, I've been watching your stuff, and you do an awesome job. I can tell people now you're not 35, but
I got the beard though.
you do have the beard. You're manly, very manly. I just want to say thank you to Rend Lake Cabins in the. Am I saying it right? Rend Lake Cabins in the Woods.
Yep.
Awesome. Appreciate the Youngs and what they allow us to do out here, and my man Big Austin doing a great job. Yeah, you got it. The guys behind the scenes, man. Without them, we're nothing.
No, I wouldn't be able to get this all set up without him. Heck, I don't know where I'd be filming it. They've always been a great help, always been fun to be around, and yeah, you definitely have to give thanks to Rend Lake Cabins in the Woods and the Youngs for sure.
One last thing. If you like what we're doing, like and subscribe on
Twitter, might be on X. I post on my personal account, but like and subscribe on YouTube. Hey, and don't forget about the trivia question.
merch.
Free merch. I'll just go ahead and say it again. What trivia question is when and where did Mike Rude make his first playoff appearance? If you just message the Instagram account what your answer is, then whoever's first gets free merch. Free merch.
Love it.
Free merch is always fun. Anything free. So make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next week.